Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to be taking over the Feedfeed Snapchat today. My name is Edgar, aka Edgar Raw from Instagram. This is my Instagram, Edgar Raw, and I'm going to be making this pizza today. It's gluten-free, and most of the produce is harvested from a farm I work at. If you guys need the recipe, you can check me out at Edgar Raw. And first, we're going to start with the squash pizza crust. If you're following me on my personal Snapchat, you will see that I harvested all these ingredients here. I will be making 2 pizzas, so I will double the recipe. So I'm going to take a squash, a zucchini, some basil. I will be using garlic and some oregano. The first step is to add 6 tablespoons of chia seed meal and a half a cup of water. Then you will take a whisk and mix this up, and you're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. We're going to preheat the oven to 300 degrees. This recipe calls for squash, but we'll be using zucchini, and we can also use the patty pan squash, and we'll be grating it into a bowl. After you're done grating your squash and zucchini, you're going to pour it into a bowl with the cheesecloth. We're going to squeeze all the water out. Since we're doubling up the recipe, we will put 3 cups of squash and zucchini. Depending on your taste buds, you can use 5 garlic cloves or 10. I'm going to be using 10 just because I love garlic. The way I process garlic is I smash it and take the skin off, and I have a grinder, so just put it in there. In my grinder, I'm going to add my fresh oregano. We're going to add our soaked chia seed meal and our cup of potato starch. We're going to add our basil, a black pepper, and our salt. This is pink Himalayan salt, by the way. Now we're going to mix thoroughly. And we're going to knead this very well because you want to get that chia seed meal all in between the squash. I've got to tell you is that if you don't squeeze all the water out, you're going to have to adjust the recipe and add more potato starch, so make sure you squeeze all the water out. I'm making 2 small pizzas, so I just cut it in half, and we're going to form our pizzas now.
2.
So we're going to add some potato starch to the board just so it doesn't get stuck, and we're going to make our pizza crust. Okay, to make the pizza crust, I'm just going to flatten it out with my hands. And then I'm going to start kind of forming like the crust. I just make this stuff up as I go, so you can form it however you want, but this is how I'm doing it. I just laid my pizza crust on parchment paper on a baking sheet, and then we're going to make the next one. Now that I've formed my 2 crusts, we're going to put them in the oven for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to check them out. Meanwhile, we're going to make the tomato sauce and get ready to screenshot on the next snap. Now that the cutting board is clean, we're going to cut our onion, our garlic, and our tomatoes. We're cutting up the onion. So first I cut off both ends. Then I kind of make like a small sliver and take off the skin. To finally chop this onion, I cut it into small slivers. Then I cut it in half. And I take half of it and then I start chopping. On medium heat, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and we're going to add our onions. now we added our onions. We're going to let this saute for about 5 minutes until it gets translucent. I grinded up my garlic. I'm adding my basil leaves and my oregano leaves. We're going to lower the heat, and then we're going to add our garlic, basil, and oregano. We're going to roughly cut these Roma tomatoes. We're going to blitz them in the blender. Now we're going to pour this in here. Now I'm just adding my thyme, my salt and pepper, and you can add as much salt as you want. I don't like mine very salty. This recipe calls for some water, so you can let your sauce simmer. I don't want to waste my zucchini and squash water, so I'm just going to add that. As you let the tomato sauce simmer, now we're going to be checking on the squash. The way you know it's ready is that it just comes off very easily off the parchment paper. Forgot to add my 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Seriously, I use this for everything. As we let this tomato sauce simmer, we're going to be making the coconut baking. Get ready to screenshot on the next post. On medium to low heat, we're going to pan fry the coconut flakes with some coconut oil. As you saute this, it's been about 2 minutes, and we're going to add our tamari soy sauce, liquid smoke, and our maple syrup. So you have to be quick because you don't want this to burn. Like I was saying, we have to cook this pretty fast because it will burn fast and you don't want it burnt. So let's saute it for about 2 more minutes and that's it. Seems like this tomato sauce is almost ready. We're going to turn off the heat because we're going to blend it in the blender for about 30 seconds. This coconut bacon is smelling so good. Seriously. Aw. Hey Zelda. She's smelling the bacon. I finally chopped 3 big mushrooms and I left some of them for presentation purposes. We're going to add mushroom at the base. We're going to add our tomato sauce on top. I like adding more basil just because I love it. We're going to add some of this coconut bacon. And I'm adding this vegan cheese. We're just going to put some on top. We're going to be adding the rest of the coconut bacon on top. Then we're just going to layer up some mushrooms. We're going to put this back in the oven until the cheese melts. It's been about 20 minutes, a little bit over. We're going to take it out. And then we're going to top it off with fresh basil. I like extra basil. So how you like it, Eric?
Oh my god, bacon.
Vegan bacon, of course. And if you guys want to take over the Feedfeed, just give us a snap. Have a nice day, everyone. And if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, Edgar Raw, or Snapchat, you can find more recipes, and they're all vegan.